Welcome to No Apologies on Beck, where we are unafraid to speak the truth. I am your host, Rick Becker. Our co-host, Lori Hintz, is coming to us remote via Zoom. You're in Florida. Lori, I understand you've been vacationing, swimming, playing in the sand. Or if not doing that, tell us what have you been doing down in Florida?
Yeah, not doing any of that. Not a pool, not the ocean, none of that stuff. No, I'm here for the RNC winter meeting, which is a yearly meeting that the RNC does, and they run it somewhere in the country. This point is here at a hotel in at Amelia Island.
Amelia Island. And RNC is what?
Yes, and so the RNC is they're this governing group of 168 people, and they get together for 3 meetings a year. And this is the year where they do the elections. And so the elections took place actually earlier today. So I'm going to give you the update on the latest news. So you may or may not know the name Ronna McDaniel. And Ronna McDaniel is the chair of the RNC. She has been there for 2 years. And what she does is that she oversees everything with the RNC and the GOP. She's an amazing person. Now, this poor woman was in Georgia not very long ago, and she was knocking on doors before the election, and she actually fell, tripped a little bit, and broke her ankle. So she is now, they're calling her Scooter Daniels. So there's a picture of her. This was taken while we were actually here at the events. And she you can see, if you look really closely, she's got a walking boot on her foot there too. So we had the election today, and she was reelected unanimously, absolutely unanimously. Everybody stood up to do a count. They didn't really do a ballot because she ran unopposed. And then they said, how many opposed you can stand up, and nobody stood up. So that was exciting. So it was unanimous, and she's an amazing person, and she's a very, very good chair. And I think everyone was very happy with what she did. I know we lost, but at the same time, she is a very good leader, and we have a lot to be proud of with regard to all of the calls and the ground game and the things that she oversaw, especially the fundraising particularly. Now,
yeah, well, there certainly was no red wave like they were predicting, so. Or no blue wave, I'm sorry. There's no blue wave like they were predicting.
Correct.
So, we lost a big one in, of course, Georgia, but there were a lot of wins in there.
That's exactly right. And that's kind of what has been going on. We've been very somber. We've been very sad about the results. Obviously, 168 people who put their hearts and souls into the election, and we're really, hopeful for the outcome. But I will tell you that there is also some fire in everybody to get 2022. I mean, seriously, everybody's like, okay, you know what? We're going to pivot. We're going to work on making sure there is election integrity. That's going to be job one. And that's been said over and over and over here at the RNC, election integrity. So
that's going to be an uphill battle, but you're right. We can't, you can't just say, well, we're done, we give up, because where does that leave us as a country? That's the thing is, for the people that really want the best for the country, there's no end. The battle is never, ever done, no matter how sad and bitter the defeat. We just have to keep going.
No, that's it 100%. I will tell you, too, that the other elections that took place included another unopposed race, and that was for secretary, and that was Vicki Drummond, a lovely, lovely woman from Alabama. She's a National Committeewoman. And then also we did a co-chair. So the co-chair currently was a guy named Tommy Hicks, and he was one of 4 candidates. So Doyle Webb and Bruce Huff and J.A. Shepard all took on Tommy Hicks, who was the seated co-chair, and Tommy prevailed, and so he was reelected as well. And then for the treasurer's race, it was 2 candidates. It was a gal named Casey Crosby, who was taking on the incumbent, which was Ron Kaufman, and Ron Kaufman was reelected as well. So their team is intact again. Those people who were in office previously were all reelected. And I'm going to show you some other pictures of other things that happened here while I was at the RNC winter meeting. And it's been really good because we've had some interesting speakers. As time has gone on, they have pulled out some what I would call hopefuls. So let's see what we can see on screen here. And you can see some of the other things that are going on at the RNC. So we have pictures coming up here. I've got things where I've been, what we've done for the other, let's see, speakers that we had. There were 4 of us that were from the North Dakota delegation. So this is what you're seeing here. From left to right is our executive director in North Dakota, Corby Kemmer, who came along and had lots of opportunity to network with other states' executive directors and learn. And then next to him is Shane Gettle. That is our national committee man. And you may have seen him on another Beck show with the Ladies of Another View. I know he's been on there. He is from Mandan. So that's Shane Gettle, and then me. And then next to me is Rick Berg, and that is our state party chairman. So you can see we're all in front of the Republican national symbol there and the flags on the stage. And then if you move on, you're going to see another picture here. And this is 3 of us. And on the left is Laura Nakanelua. You will see her later on tonight because I'm going to bring her in and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Hawaii later on in the show. I don't know, can you recognize the person in the middle there, Rick? Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I think I do. I think maybe she lives a little bit south of us.
She lives a little bit south of us. Yes, she is. That is Kristi Noem, the South Dakota governor. And she was there and spoke to us as well. And she did an amazing job. It was a very, very good speech. She didn't really hardly use notes. She kind of spoke from her heart. She was extremely authentic. And I was very impressed with her speech. And now if we scoot on, you may recognize this guy.
Yeah, my good buddy Rand.
Yes, it is. Rand Paul. And again, he was all about liberty and freedom. He talked about the fact that the debt is ridiculous at $28 trillion and how we really do not need to be doling out money that we don't have anymore. So he had a wonderful speech as well. That was in the evening 2 nights ago, I believe. And he was really passionate, and he was also very complimentary about President Trump, which was very nice. He said he called him the most amazing president of my lifetime, he said. And I thought that was kind of cool that he was giving him credit like that. And then if you scooch on one more, you can see this person was last night the keynote at the dinner. And I know she's kind of far away, so it's hard to see there. But that is Nikki Haley. That is the former Ambassador Nikki Haley, and she spoke to us, and she did a very nice job also, and kind of laid out what we should do for the future of the RNC, and particularly the GOP, the Republican Party of the future. So she was excellent. And this was today. I actually got my picture taken after the lunch that we had. The luncheon keynote was done by the host governor here in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis. And let me just say, wow, did he ever have a message? And it was completely, it was kind of like, you want him to be the governor of your state, Rick. You would have loved this. Yeah. He actually talked about how the schools are completely open and the parents are thrilled because the kids are so much happier. It was fantastic. He talked about, actually, when I got a chance to take my picture with him, I said to him, if you look at our state and South Dakota and you look at the curves, they are identical. And he goes, yeah, I know. He goes, masks they don't even work.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you look at Florida's curve versus a lot of the other states, and it's clear. So South Dakota and Florida, I mean, kudos to both governors. DeSantis, I think, is doing fantastic down there. And what a lesson that could be learned if a governor, and maybe the North Dakota governor, perhaps, could learn if they just looked.
Yeah, it was something special. I will have to say that speech was terrific, and all of them really did a great job. So when we come back, I'm going to surprise you with some National Committee women, and I'm going to introduce them to you here on No Apologies.
I can't wait.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Are you a thrill seeker, sightseer, or day tripper? The Ford Bronco Sport SUV is built for you. Fort Bears Casino is giving away a 2021 Ford Bronco Sport loaded with a ton of interior space, safari-style roof, smooth suspension for any terrain, and easy-to-clean surfaces. Qualify now just by playing your favorite slots at Fort Bears Casino. Double points on Sundays. Also get in on Super Senior Wednesdays, slot turning Thursdays, and hot seats on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Spin into Fort Bears Casino and Lodge for chances to win.
Some things in life are hard. That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
Heroes and Icons is changing to Cozy TV on January 18th. Don't worry, you'll still get your favorite Beck News programming without changing the channel. Real people, real news, Beck News.
And we're gone.
Welcome back to No Apologies. Hey, where am I? There I am. What the heck? We're on back.
Awesome.
We're still here. Ladies, welcome. Lori has a guest.
Yes.
Lori, please introduce your guest for us.
I am so excited to introduce to you Barb Sutter. My friend Barb Sutter is from our sister, next door neighbor state. She is from Minnesota. So Barb Sutter is the National Committeewoman, so she is my counterpart from Minnesota. And what happens is we tend to fly places together because I have to go through Minneapolis, which is her hometown, in order to go places. So we've spent a good amount of time already together. So welcome, Barb. I'm glad to have you on the show. This is so exciting. Now, I want you to tell a little bit about yourself first so that they know from where you came in your history with the RNC.
I have been in Minnesota for 18 years. My husband was in the military and with NATO and took a job in Minnesota. We had never been there before. We did not believe we would be there this long, but we are. It's become our home. Have always been politically active and got involved on a local level in our state. They were looking for somebody that they thought might work out as a treasurer in our Senate district. My background is in accounting, and they glommed on to me because treasurers are hard to come by. I went from being treasurer to being my Senate district chair. And the next thing was they were looking for someone to run for office in our Senate district. And I said, never. And then I said, yes. It was an amazing experience. I've never regretted doing it. I didn't win. I came close, as my father used to say, that doesn't count. I came within 3 points, but that still didn't dissuade me. And then I became secretary of our party for 4 years and then ran for National Committeewoman.
Awesome. So since you've been National Committeewoman. Do you want to say anything, Rick? Do you want to ask her any questions? Or?
Well, yeah. Well, first off, what so much has happened in the last 3 days. And one of the burning questions I have from almost anyone in the party is, where do you think we go from here? What's the most important thing that you see for the Republican Party nationally, as well as in your own state?
Oh, hearing it. Yeah, it's a little distorted here too. So he said, what do you think going forward, and especially in the state of Minnesota?
Wow, that's a big question right now, because I think we're still all trying to digest what has happened during the last 3 days. But I would say, as a Trump supporter, which I always was, I think our party must not lose sight of, despite what's happened, what Trump brought to the party. And I have worked in particular with what the GOP calls coalition groups. We call them affiliate groups in Minnesota. And I have watched those grow and expand. And part of the reason for that is because of President Trump's openness. Where do we go from here? I guess remains to be seen, but I think there are things that we have to hold on to. So
I think that's key. And let me just ask you if you have a thought or a comment. I'm sorry, are you able to hear me okay if I speak up?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Perfect. So one of the things we need to do is make sure our message is understood, what the Republican Party stands for. Because if the various groups, when we want to bring people in, it's not that we want to weaken our message to appeal to more people, it's that we want people to understand what we stand for and why freedom and prosperity can be brought about if we bring these ideals to them. Reagan's message in '75 is we want to be a party of bold colors, not pale pastels. So I'm wondering, do you see that people understand, in the Republican Party, understand that we want to bring people in, but not weaken our message?
We kind of talked about that in some of our update stuff with the RSC too, Rick. And I'm going to jump in here just and say that we have talked really specifically about messaging and being really clear and really being good listeners, because I know that our constituents are all really, really upset right now. They're disappointed and they're frustrated, very frustrated. So what we need to do is we need to be clear that we are hearing them, and we're going to do whatever we can to mitigate that frustration. We are going to have our clear message that we are going to make it a priority, particularly to do things like work on ballot integrity and voting integrity and mail-in ballot and things like that. Voter ID, a big push for voter ID. So those were some of the things that we specifically talked about with the RNC this past week.
Yeah. And that makes sense, because without that, you'll lose the base, right? And that's smart. That's a very smart strategy.
Yeah. So I want to talk to Barb just a little bit about those affiliate groups that we were talking about. Mm-hmm. So that would be like in North Dakota, the Young Republicans.
The Young Republicans. There are college Republicans. There are seniors. We have Hispanics. We have African Republicans, and African meaning those from Africa, not African Americans. The Blexit group is now very active in our state. We have, I believe, we have 8 affiliated groups, and we have 4 groups waiting. The Log Cabin Republicans come to mind. It's hard to always remember all of them. It's usually why I carry my little cheat sheet around with me. But we have a labor group that is working very hard to change the face of labor in Minnesota. We have a lot of blue collar people in the cities, in particular, in labor unions, that are quite open now about having been, again, not just trying to focus on Trump, but that's how they came in, because they felt they were very well received by the president and his message. So it's been really a wonderful opportunity for us to work with that and bring in groups that we had never seen as part of our coalitions before.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm glad you're on the front lines with that. It sounds like you're going to be in a good group of people that are all going to be leaning forward with the same goal in mind.
Well, one of the interesting statistics we actually heard today from Chair McDaniel was that, and this was a surprise to me, 1/4 of the voters for President Trump were non-white voters. He is the first Republican in 60 years to have had amassed that kind of a number of voters. So I think that's very telling of a direction that we can go and that we shouldn't lose sight of.
And now the struggle is going to be to retain all of those first-time voters who are coming out because of Trump, and they're coming out because of the movement, essentially. But to be able to retain them, and the danger is that they could be disenfranchised.
Yes, absolutely. The beauty of how Trump did is he did not pander. What we saw with the Democratic candidates was just horrible pandering to the minority groups. Trump just said, for instance, with African Americans, what do you have to lose?
Right.
He did not pander. He tried to bring them in by letting them understand and recognize how our policies are going to do far better for minorities than the policies that they've seen for the last 40 years.
Well, and he also pursued things that were of vital interest to them that hadn't really been focused on before. The historically Black colleges and universities, they moved into those. He focused on, and sadly was planning on focusing even more in a second term on school choice, criminal justice, and licensure reform. Those were all things that made a difference in those communities. And so they saw somebody that was reaching out to them and made a big difference.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right. Well, Barb, it was fantastic having you as a guest. Lori, thanks for bringing Barb on.
Thank you.
Why don't you take us away to the next segment, Lori?
Okay, so on our next segment, we're going to go across the sea a little bit, and we're going to talk to another National Committee woman who I have coming in here, who you may have seen earlier in a picture with me and Christy Noem. So we'll be talking to Laura next here from Hawaii on No Apologies with Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
In southwestern and south central North Dakota, on any given day at any given moment, a Dakota Community Bank and Trust customer is logging in or signing on to do their online or mobile banking. We believe that community banking can blend both the past with down-home customer service in-house and the future with modern banking conveniences and technology for our customers anywhere, like here or here, all while honoring our long-standing tradition of community-first oriented banking here at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
My wife was diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's. We talked about it and we kind of decided we'd be a little bit proactive and try to start making provisions. So we started looking here, and Eventide worked out to be pretty much the perfect answer. I guess I didn't expect it to be so nice. The staff here were terrific. We enjoy it.
Beck News brings you real people and real news. Every weekday on KNDB, KNDM, and KRDK. Start your evening with the Dr. Duke Show at 4. Take a fresh look at current events with Ladies of Another View at 4:30. Go down the road with Joel at 5:30. Watch No Apologies with Becker at 9. Cap off your night with No Filter with Debbie at 10. Beck News. Real people, real news.
The professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless, and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
Welcome back to No Apologies on Beck, your after-hours oasis of sanity. I am your host, Rick Becker. Our co-host, Lori Hintz, is remote via Zoom. Lori, are you there?
Glad to be
Lori,
here.
there you are.
I am zooming in from Amelia Island in Florida.
Amelia
I have
Island.
been here I have been here for the last few days at this hotel, and we are doing what's called the winter meeting. And it just finished today earlier. We finished with some elections earlier in the day, and all of the regular officers were reelected. And with me, this lovely lady here that you can see is from Hawaii. She is the National Committeewoman from Hawaii. This is Laura Nakanelua. I could practice saying her name there, Rick. Laura Nakanelua. Yes. And she's going to use some terminology for you from Hawaii too, because she says wahine and all sorts of different things. What was you said aloha, and then you said something after that to us today too.
This morning I said aloha kakariaka, which simply means good morning.
Good morning. And I was like, I do not understand that. Anyway,
Okay, wait, I got to ask a quick question. So is Melakaliki Maka actually the Hawaiians' way to say Merry Christmas?
It is. It is.
Oh, good.
Good
That's what
well done.
I sing it every Christmas, and I didn't know if it was actually real or not.
Do you want to know how to say Happy New Year?
Yes.
Haole makahiki ho.
Auli makariki ho.
Yeah, it's actually
That's
fun
somewhere
to say, isn't it?
probably between Japanese and Hawaiian. I probably really ruined it, but
yeah, that was well done. I wanted to bring her on because in Hawaii, there are so many different things as compared to North Dakota, of course, with a National Committeewoman's job. First of all, you've got numerous islands. So you've got a little different campaigning, I'm assuming, Laura. Talk about how you got to be the National Committeewoman there.
Oh gosh, well, my start in this role sort of got kickstarted by, I considered and actually sort of semi-jumped into a legislative campaign for a legislative seat in my district early in the year, in February, around February. But decided a few months in that I needed to withdraw. It wasn't the right fit for me. And we had another very strong Republican candidate come up in the district as well to also run. And instead of, dealing with the primary and putting that strain on the party, I withdrew from the race and she ran against the Democrat. Around that same time, the opportunity arose with the National Committeewoman position because one of the three candidates dropped out. And that, for some reason, generated discussion around, is there another candidate that would be viable? And my name popped up in front of some people and they approached me and I jumped at the chance because this is just such a great role.
It's a vital role. It really is important. Now, this state also, in addition to having different places that you got to puddle jump, not even take one of those little airplanes from one to the next island.
We call it island hopping.
I'm sorry, that's right, island hopping. We call it puddle jumping in North Dakota. Okay, so but you have to go to all those different places. Yes, but it's a very blue state too, is it not?
It is a very blue state. So when I was campaigning for National Committeewoman, of course, you are campaigning island-wide, and I did island hop over to a couple. Actually, one other island to campaign in person. We reached out to the islands that I didn't physically go to because COVID restrictions started to become a factor.
Right.
They really did. So with the other islands like Maui, we Zoomed. But for Kauai, I went over there in person, actually with a couple of other candidates for other.
You live on Oahu.
I live on the island of Oahu.
Okay. Nice.
So the other thing about Blue Hawaii is that not only is it very blue, but talk about your legislature, because that is kind of opposite
I don't
North
want to
Dakota.
talk about it.
You can talk about your
sad.
legislature.
Okay, all right, I'll tell you very quickly. We have 76 legislators, a legislative body of 76 members, and we have 5 Republicans sitting in that body of legislators, 1 senator and 4 representatives. So it is a very blue state, but and it didn't keep people from loving President Trump.
I know.
And coming out in droves for our president.
Right.
Unprecedented groundswell. You know, in 2016, as Trump supporters were kind of making our way around the islands with our Trump hats on, sometimes maybe a t-shirt or a tank top, but we were always afraid we might get jumped or,
Right.
some way or another.
It's interesting to campaign in a blue state like that for a Republican. It really must have been interesting. Now, she sent me videos. I saw a bunch of different videos of things that were going on there, and I saw all these like Trump truck rallies.
It was
and things.
crazy. It warmed my heart. It got me so excited and so happy. I was just and it was, completely organic. People just started these rallies, and when one saw the other one doing it, everybody jumped in, and they were on every street corner on the weekends, larger rallies all over the island. So the car rallies were really big. People would literally just sort of drive around the island and through town, and flags coming out of cars. I could give you a couple of websites where you could see for yourself, but I know this is going around the country. But for us in Hawaii, it was truly unique because it had
You've never seen that before.
Not for any candidate. Not for any candidate ever.
Let me ask you then, with a state that's significantly blue, I understand that you were involved with overseeing or ensuring, helping to monitor for election integrity. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, yes, I decided to volunteer as an observer, and several folks from our party did, as an observer during the primary and the general election. So I was in the ballot processing center during the primary, and again during the general election. At one point, the Office of Elections and the city and county, both of whom have a role in our electoral process, invited myself and our Hawaii Republican Party chair to go tour the signature verification site and sort of understand the process start to finish. So as an observer, which was great, that we have good, so Hawaii, Hawaii passed a law last year to start mail-in voting. And so because of that, we were somewhat prepared for what we dealt with this year, as opposed to trying to throw it together within a matter of a few months. So that was the good news. We had proper equipment to process ballots and verify signatures electronically very quickly. But there were irregularities in the voting, both during the primary and the general election, that we observed and reported back. The Elections Commission had a meeting maybe 3 weeks ago now, and I was able to get on the call, it was a Zoom call, and testify to what I had seen in the primary as well as during the general election. And then also voice my concerns over the complete and utter lack of verifiable chain of custody that just is non-existent in Hawaii. And they act as if, well, what's wrong with that? Isn't that's okay, right? So it was an interesting conversation.
Yes, fun fact, Rick, they do not have a Secretary of State in Hawaii. A little different than here. So they have an election official. So Laura, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Rick.
And we come back, I've got one more National Committeewoman to introduce to you. And she is from Kansas. So we'll be talking to her next when we come back.
Howdy folks, it's a Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our hay-bossing breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon-rattling pie with a cum roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Yeah. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the game. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
For the greatest selection and full menu offering is the Four Seasons Restaurant and Ice Cream Parlor in Garrison. Succulent sandwiches, big breakfasts served all day, and delicious desserts. Easy access in and out for campers and RVs. The Four Seasons Restaurant at the top of Main Street, Garrison.
Some things in life are hard. That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
Welcome back to No Apologies on Beck. Lori Hintz, my famous co-host, is remote on Zoom, and she is bringing us a veritable parade of wonderful, interesting people at the RNC in Florida. Lori, welcome back, and introduce us to your next guest.
I'm so excited to introduce you to Kim Borchers. She is the National Committeewoman for the state of Kansas. And we have had a really, really good time with all of these National Committeewomen. As you can tell, I have a really pretty good relationship with all of them already. And Kim and I met when we were in Charlotte. That's when we both got seated. So we're both freshmen, essentially, as were the two previous ones. So Kim, let's talk a little bit about how you got to be National Committeewoman in Kansas.
Well, about 20 years ago, I was a young mom who stepped back from corporate and decided to stay at home. And someone brought to my attention that you could check out Playboy magazine at our public library. And I couldn't believe that. And I thought that was kind of a problem. And I thought most people would agree with me. Little did I know I would be taking on the American Library Association and the ALA and the ACLU. So that really kind of opened the door. I got the bug and I never got rid of it. And so got involved in campaigns, was asked to participate in Americans for Prosperity, so the fiscal side of things. And they got on the radar screen of then Senator Brownback, who asked me to work on his campaign. And when he won his election, asked me to join his senior staff. And so I was his Director of Appointments and Deputy Chief of Staff. And that kind of opened the door. I mean, I've been in grassroots politics for 22 years. Right. And so just kind of a humble beginning. Had no experience at all. My parents weren't in politics and so forth. And that's just what I love about America, is that you don't have to come from a political family, right, in order to make a difference in your community. That's how it happened.
Now, the other thing about Kansas that is really neat for the North Dakotans watching this to know is that Kansas and North Dakota are very similar, I would say. I don't know who's more red. Who do you think?
Well, right now we have a Democrat governor.
So that would make us more red.
I'm going to make you.
Although some of the policies of ours are, but do you have a mask mandate in your state?
We have a governor who would love to do a mask mandate, but we have home rule. So I think that's really important that local communities know exactly what's best for their communities. Topeka is not going to tell Western Kansas how to do things. And we're going to be fighting for that significantly because the governor would love to have those repealed.
So you have a pretty red legislature.
Oh, yes. We have super majorities now in both the House and the Senate. And I'm so grateful for that because we're gonna have to override a lot of vetoes.
Right, right, probably so I want to talk a little bit about what's happened here at the RNC. And I started by saying it was kind of somber, and we've all been very sad, obviously, about the outcome of the election and the electoral vote the other day, and especially about what went on at the Capitol, too. And we're all kind of walking around like shocked zombies. But we also seem to have rallied toward the end.
Absolutely. There's an opportunity here. Let me just first of all say this. There are lots of things that have been said in the mainstream media that are lies. I'll just say this, having worked for a governor, I thought the press was biased, but I would literally sit in rooms and then go see an article done and go, that's not what happened in that room.
Right.
We have condemned the violence of what happened this week. That's what we are, a law and order party. We are all Americans. Unfortunately, the folks on the left side of the aisle, we've had violence all summer, and they said absolutely nothing.
Right.
So I don't want to hear any moral high ground. I'm not sure what happened to the Capitol. I don't know who's all involved in it. I think you had some folks who were malicious in their actions and behavior, but I would also say I think you had some folks who support the president who got themselves kind of sucked into it, and they walked in and did some really stupid stuff. And I would say this isn't breaking into the high school and gluing the drawer of the principal's, door shut. Right? This is the United States Capitol.
Yeah.
So I'm appalled by that. But I will just say this. At first I was saddened by things, but now I'm more angry. I'm angry that the behaviors of these people have tainted the president. I am angry that their behaviors have tainted the GOP, and it has tainted those thousands and hundreds of thousands of people who went to Washington to just do the American thing and say how proud they were of being an American.
Right.
That makes me angry. And so I'm going to take that and I'm going to channel it. And we're going to go after the Democrats. They're going to be really, really sad that they messed with the
That is all true.
Bring it on.
Seriously, we had a couple of days of really being kind of sad and down in the dumps. But then, like I say, it kind of just like Kim said, it kind of turned around and we're like, you know what? We're going after them. We're totally taking them out in 2022. We're going to take them out of the Senate. We're going to take them out of the House, and we'll work on 2024 in the future. But I'm telling you, you've got a lot of Republicans here in Amelia Island, well, who probably now left, but besides us, but they're very fired up to go back and use this and channel this energy in a good, positive way.
Yeah, America's not socialist.
We're not.
Yes. And we're already seeing the antics from the left with the tech movement. They're shutting people down on Facebook and social media. I think we're going to have to take this on, and I know that we are not in the majority, but the American people are going to slowly see their rights taken away. And this is the United States. We are not Europe, and we're going to fight for our freedoms.
What has gone on for the past 4 years has started to climax, unfortunately, with what happened a couple of days ago. And even more unfortunately, what you just brought up about big tech is clamping down even more, is bringing us closer and closer to a point of no return. And we have to step back and say, we're going to regroup and we're going to challenge the socialists and we're going to bring back to America what Donald Trump sort of espoused, or actually what the movement created with Donald Trump. And you're right, we aren't the people that went in and caused violence. That's not us. They caused us damage, but we have to step back, regroup, and take the positive approach and keep trying.
Well, let me just say this. It's sort of like COVID-19. COVID-19, there's a real silver lining in it. It was a wake-up call for the citizenry to see the power of the government. They shut their businesses down. They shut down their churches. They told them how their kids were going to be educated. And let me tell you, I got a bunch of mamas in Kansas that are going to be running for office that hadn't been before.
Fantastic.
And I think what we're going to have right now is we're going to have people are going to slowly see their rights being eroded. And we have warned them. We warned them. They didn't like Donald Trump, so they didn't listen to him. And they're going to see it. And guess what? The Democrats are going to lose because, like I said, Americans are not socialists. They're here because they love their freedom.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much, Kim.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, North Dakota, you have got an amazing national committee woman. I'm so proud of you. You did the right thing.
You're so kind. See, I love these girls. They're great. And I want you to know, North Dakota people, these RNC women have fire in their bellies, so we're all good, right?
All right,
So
we're going to be right back. Hang with us, folks.
All right.
Howdy, folks. It's a Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bussin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the game. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
My wife was diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's. We talked about it and we kind of decided we'd be a little bit proactive and try to start making provisions. So we started looking here, and Eventide worked out to be pretty much the perfect answer. I guess I didn't expect it to be so nice. The staff here are terrific. We enjoy it.
The professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Kohler Samurai and the innovative BRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Welcome back to your final segment with No Apologies on Beck. Lori again is with us via Zoom from Florida. Lori, last segment, and it's going to be one of our favorites.
Food.
Brain food.
Yes.
Nutrition for your brain. Trivia.
That's right. So,
okay.
You want to start? You want me to start?
I want you to start. You picked. I went with. We like to kind of go in with being within a topic. A lot of times I don't go within your topic because I just do my thing.
Right.
I'm going within your topic.
Oh, you are?
Your top, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Your topic was the citizenship or naturalization test, and so
Right.
I'm prepared to offer my 2 bits of brain food in accordance with that topic. But why don't you lead?
Okay, well, so I learned that there was a new citizenship test. On December 1st, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services changed the naturalization test, and they usually administer this to foreign-born individuals who are applying for U.S. citizenship. So the oral exam has 2 parts, English and civics, and only the civics portion was one that was changed. And that was interesting to people. So I read an article where this Leslie Holman, an immigration lawyer with the Burlington firm Holman Immigration Law, and a past president of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, says that some of the changes on the test seem politically motivated or ideologically motivated. I thought that was really interesting. Among them was the question, who does a US Senator represent? Now, on the old test, the correct answer was all people of their state. And on the new test, however, the correct answer is all citizens of their state. So it has changed from all people to all citizens. And so that kind of flagged this Leslie Holman, and she says, okay, why is it that they are looking at it and saying citizens instead? Well, it's because legal or illegal citizens is different than all people.
Yep. Yeah, that's interesting. And I know that the liberals have a problem with that, which is interesting to me. I don't know. If we were invaded by the Spaniards, and they took over one of the states, would the senator then be representative of the invading army of a foreign nation? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I found a question on there. Now the question, the test is, they give you, 128 questions that you can study from. The test itself is 20 randomly pulled questions out of the 128.
Right.
And is it 24? Anyway, you need 12 correct out of those 20. I can't read my own writing. You only need 60%. 20 questions, yeah. So what it was before was half that many questions. You still needed 60%. So that's the only thing that changed as far as the quantifiable. But the other aspect were those new questions that were added to make it 128. One of them was an interesting one. Why does each state have 2 senators? And of the couple of correct answers that could be given, one is equal representation. The other answer is the Connecticut Compromise. So I looked up Connecticut Compromise. I hadn't heard of that, Lori. Had you heard of Connecticut Compromise?
No, I had not heard about that. I did see that on the test, though. I went through the test and looked at it myself, too.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. Back when they were making the Constitution, they were trying to figure out how should we do a legislature. And one of the proposals, which was called the Virginia Plan, was to have a bicameral legislature, a House and a Senate. And that Virginia Plan had that the number of people representing your state was proportional to your population, just like the House is now.
Right.
But instead of 2 per Senate, it was proportional for population. Small states hated it. They had something called the New Jersey Plan, which was a unicameral legislature, meaning just one House, which is what Nebraska has, and that it would be equal to the states. So that would be like only a Senate. Anyway, after a lot of banging around, arguing, and some wonderful stuff that must have happened during all the debates, they came up with the actual plan, which is what we have now, a combination, a proportional to population House representing the people, and then the Senate, which is proportional, or rather equal to the states, 2 from each state. Originally was elected by the state legislature, now, of course, with the 17th Amendment by the people, but that's how we came up, and that was called the Connecticut Compromise.
Interesting, fabulous, very good explanation there. It's a civics lesson, so this is really important too. I thought I would maybe just ask you one of the questions and see how you did, because I know that you're really, really good at this. So here's what I was going to ask. Name 2 important ideas from the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 different possibilities here, but you're supposed to only name 2 important ideas from the Declaration of Independence and see if you can come up with them.
Well, Declaration and Constitution?
It says, From the
All men are
Declaration of
created
Independence
equal.
and the U.S. Constitution. Yep.
Yeah, all men are created equal, and then a form of representative government of co-equal branches.
Okay, good. Equality is one of them. Self-government. Liberty. I thought for sure you would get that one. And then social contract, natural rights, and limited government. I said that already. Self-government and limited government. So all of those are all good things. So they're all good. And I heard a lot of those words. I heard a lot of those words out of Rand Paul's mouth the other night. I mean, he used almost every single one of those words when he gave his speech. It was fantastic. I should have actually taped the whole speech because you probably would have loved to have seen it on this show because it was really good. But I start to do things at the RNC, and then I realized, no, you cannot videotape everything that you are seeing. So we're not allowed to do that. But I was going to ask you another one, if that's okay. Is that all right?
Sure. Put me on the spot.
Okay. The President of the United States is in charge of which branch of government? Now, this is interesting because it's been found that very few people understand that there are 3 branches of government. I don't know if you've seen the statistics on this lately, but there's a very small percentage of people who actually can name all 3 branches of government.
Well, the executive of the United States, I know, is in charge of the executive branch, the president being. Now, the executive in North Dakota, though, is in charge of all the branches. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not realize that.
Yes, but the president is in charge of the executive branch, which means all the various agencies and so on and so forth. Yes.
So
I thought you were going to give me a hard one.
I can name the 3, the executive, the judicial, and the legislative branch. Those are the 3.
Very good. Very good. We should probably next time go for harder ones, though.
Right.
But I saw a lot of the questions were super
Right.
easy. Super easy.
Okay.
You only have to get 60%. Apparently not as hard to become a citizen as I thought.
Right.
All right. Lori, take us out.
All right, when we come back, next show, I'll be back in the studio, and I'll see you then.